pursuit of a murder suspect in a stolen '89 Ford.
Running from the cops is the most idiotic thing to do unless you're a guy named Tom Cruise.
I'm gonna walk out of here. There ain't a damn thing any one of you can do about it.
From heroic dogs to crazy high-speed chases, these clips will leave you questioning, is this real life or some action movie? WWE Cop. This cop either grew up watching WWE or had way too much caffeine that day. He ran and jumped from the hood of the car onto the suspect to subdue him. Rammed and sprayed.
Go.
A thief on a moped was on the run, and guess what he had on? A high-vis vest, practically screaming, "Look at me!" The moped guy dodged one police car, but wasn't getting away that easily. Our officer ruthlessly rammed into him. And if that wasn't crazy enough, another cop sprayed what you might think was pepper spray. But no, it was DNA identifying spray. This stuff collects traces of DNA, so even if the suspect escapes, they will be tracked down. Not that it mattered here. Our super-focused cop wasn't letting this guy go anywhere but behind bars. Shep the hero. Deputy Nick Carmack was in hot pursuit of a stolen vehicle with his furry sidekick Shep when the crook's car smacked into a pole. The driver bolted, and the officer quickly released his partner. He nabbed the passenger, who was also trying to make a run for it. With backup on the way, Carmack realized Shep had vanished into the woods after the driver. So he did the only logical thing. He told the handcuffed suspect to get up and run with him into the woods after Shep. Though it's not on camera, the deputy reported that Shep had caught the driver, who was now dragging the dog along. Eventually, the driver ran out of steam and collapsed in pain outside a house. This isn't the only time Shep caught bad guys. In January 2021, Shep and Carmack were on the hunt for a suspect. Once the deputy spotted one, Shep locked on, was released, and took the guy down. Over the years, Shep became a TV star on Live PD, and now, in retirement, still lives with Carmack. Spike action.
Stolen, gray 2007 Mercedes-Benz, Colorado plate. Vehicle continued westbound on I-70 at a high rate of speed.
All right, that sounds exciting.
Police were in pursuit of a stolen Mercedes-Benz reaching high speeds. Sergeant Steve Salas got the call and was ready with a nifty tool to end the chase. A spike strip. This bad boy has nails to bust the tires of fleeing cars. Salas and another officer set up their strips opposite each other, making sure to get all four tires. As the car approached, they yanked the strips at just the right moment. The car's tires popped, and it wasn't long before the suspects abandoned it and dashed into a field. Salas got his K9, helped it over a fence, and warned the suspects to stop or face the dog. Initially, they ignored the warning, but once the dog was released, they woke up. The dog was ready for action, but luckily for the suspects, they complied before getting a taste of those canine chompers. Highway chaos. Next up, this clip feels straight out of a Hollywood action movie. With his tires flattened, the suspect realizes his car won't get him away from the cops. So, he bails, climbs over a high partition, and finds himself on the other side of the road, with vehicles whizzing by at high speed. Imagine cruising peacefully, then suddenly seeing a guy in the middle of the highway. You try to avoid hitting him, and he decides to hop on your vehicle. Soon enough, a superhero cop climbs onto the hood and tackles the guy. Baseball bat. For some mysterious reason, this guy decided to use a baseball bat on a police station's glass windows and door. People inside quickly took cover as he swung at the glass. He had no intention of getting into the station and was just there to vandalize. A cop outside the station had enough of his shenanigans and went full football mode in this baseball fight. He tackled the guy with great speed and perfect form, throwing him into the station where other officers quickly jumped in to arrest him. High-speed pit. The pit maneuver is an effective police tactic to make fleeing suspects lose control of their car. But for this cop, executing it came with a serious price. The officer hits the rear of the suspect's car at over 100 miles per hour, making it drift off the road and tip over. The suspect's car then hits a pole, causing the patrol unit to go airborne and roll multiple times on touchdown. Both cars end up upside down on the side of the road. Seizing the tire. Pity maneuvers and spike strips are cool but super risky. So, how do you stop the bad guys with minimal damage? Enter the grappler. This tool is mounted on the push bar of a police car and equipped with a high-strength nylon net. All the cops need to do is deploy it and get close enough for the fleeing vehicle's tire to roll over the net. In this case, cops were after teenagers on a crime spree in a stolen car, speeding through residential areas. Too risky for PAT maneuvers, so the cops deployed the grappler. What the suspects thought was just a little bump from the cops was their tire getting tangled in the net. Can't drive away from that now, can you? Judo throw. This guy whips out a machete thinking he can intimidate the cop. He swipes the machete twice on the ground, trying to show he means business, and then goes for the attack. But the cop, fearless. Parkour. This suspect thought he could outrun the cop by hopping over fences, but he didn't count on the officer being a parkour master. The cop jumped over a wall and a fence, and even realized the door was already open. The suspect's stamina gave out, and the super cop slapped the handcuffs on him in no time. This guy couldn't have picked a worse cop to run from. Beyblade. A speed demon refused to stop for a traffic stop, leading to a high-speed chase with the suspect hitting over 120 miles per hour. This guy was weaving erratically through the lanes, not caring about other drivers. But his wild ride ended when a cop caught up and executed a pit maneuver. The suspect's car started spinning like a Beyblade, hitting the guardrail and then the cop's car before coming to a rest. An officer from another patrol unit stepped out, gun drawn, and gave the teenager a fatherly slap to knock some sense into him. Test drive to swim. This woman thought she could take the car home from the dealership after a test drive. When the cop starts chasing her and she gets blocked on a bridge, she makes another bad decision. She jumps into the river to evade arrest. Not a great swimmer, she struggles to get far. The police keep throwing lines for her to grab, but she refuses. Finally, fed up with her stubbornness, cops take a dip, subdue her in the water, and after a brief struggle, managed to get her back to the side of the bridge to put her in handcuffs. Unmarked surprise. This guy was fleeing the police, but after failing to stop him, unmarked police vehicles joined the chase. The driver had no clue these were cops. After crossing an intersection, one police car acted as a distraction, passing the suspect's car to slow him down. When that happened, the car behind immobilized the vehicle with a grappler. Look at this guy still desperately trying to get away. Buddy, just give up. You're not going anywhere with that nylon net wrapped around your tire. He refuses to come out, so the police shoot pepper balls at the car and block it from all sides. Stubborn as ever, the suspect still doesn't budge. After minutes of struggle, the cops pull him out, unleash a K9, and finally drag him out to be apprehended. He could have saved himself a lot of trouble by giving up earlier. Through the fence. A high-speed chase turned into a foot pursuit after the suspect crashed. He then goes on to jump over a fence into a random yard. One officer tries to zap him over the fence, another squeezes through a gap. But here comes the main guy. He thrashes through the fence, breaking it like it's nothing. And that's not all. This cop is a total beast. He proceeds to chase the suspect, jumping over multiple fences, beating all the other officers, and finally catching and subduing him. Grand Theft Auto. Now we have a suspect who thought he was in a real-life GTA game. He started by fleeing in a red car, ended up in a parking lot, drove over a curb, and went off-roading onto the highway. He then pulled up to a couple's car, yanked the man out, and took off in their ride. Driving the wrong way and nearly causing head-on collisions, the police tried spike strips, which only hit innocent passers-by. The suspect then crashed into a woman, pretended to talk, but yanked her out too and drove off in her car, only to get T-boned at an intersection. He tried to carjack another vehicle, but these people did the basic thing, locked the doors. With the police closing in, he fled on foot and failed to hop over a fence, getting caught. Lesson learned? Always keep your doors locked while driving. Head-on collision. During a traffic stop, a suspect took off right after giving his name, leading to a high-speed chase. Things got even scarier when the suspect started driving the wrong way on the road. Another trooper in pursuit saw the car coming toward him and knew this guy was a danger to the public. With quick thinking and fearless determination, the trooper risked his own life and went in for a head-on collision, knocking the suspect's vehicle off the road. The trooper got out of his car, shaken but miraculously uninjured, along with the suspect. Major props to this trooper for putting others' safety before his own. Sweep pit. Police were in hot pursuit of a black pickup truck after it fled from a traffic stop. One police car caught up and tried to pit maneuver, but the suspect kept weaving through lanes to avoid it. After a few moments, the police car managed to get alongside and attempted the PIT maneuver, sending the car off the road and ending the chase. Here is the most shocking part. One of the occupants was a pregnant woman. I mean, it's already bad to run from cops, but driving recklessly with a pregnant woman in the back seat? That's just sick. Deadly spike strip. This black SUV was driving crazy and had already caused multiple crashes. Troopers wasted no time and stopped him with a pit maneuver, but that wasn't the end. When placed in the patrol unit, the suspect managed to bring his hands forward, squeeze through the window, and drive away in the cop car. The chase was back on, and knowing this guy was a danger to the public, the police had to use stop sticks. Hearing the radio communication, he dodged the first set, but the next trooper outsmarted him by standing on the opposite side of his car. When the suspect tried to stay far from the trooper's patrol unit, the stop sticks sneaked up on him. The suspect lost control after hitting the stop sticks and crashed into a semi-truck that was parked on the side of the road. He was taken to the hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries. TPAC and live stream. In the UK, when a suspect's on the run, they don't go for the PIT maneuver. Instead, they use TPAC, where cops trap the fleeing vehicle from all sides, making escape impossible. These robbery suspects found themselves caught by this exact technique. Turns out this guy was live streaming his chase, acting all gangster until karma hit him hard. Crappy arrest. Here's another wild one. A quick-thinking golfer, not a cop, stops a suspect most hilariously. After a stolen vehicle crashes into a few others, 4 suspects jump out and start running. One guy makes his way to a golf course. A police officer borrows a golf cart to find him, and where does he discover the guy? Inside a porta potty. With nowhere to hide in the wide-open field, the suspect chose a porta potty to evade arrest. But a sharp-eyed golfer spotted him and quickly tipped it over. The guy desperately pleads to be let out, and when the police finally set the porta potty upright, he emerges covered in human waste. Boat chase. When drug smugglers in the ocean realized the police were onto them, they quickly ditched their packages to lose some weight, but the police boat was still faster. It chased the suspects, overtook them, and blocked their path. For a while, the drug dealers tried to change direction multiple times to evade capture, but their efforts didn't last long. After getting flashed and blocked by the police boat several times, their boat was finally seized. Sprinting cop. This guy thought he could just walk away after terrorizing people with a knife in public. When he realized the cops were after him, he bolted, but he was no match for the sprinting officer. Despite slippery roads and an armed suspect, nothing stopped this absolute unit of a cop from taking down the bad guy. Disabled car. This teenager was on an adrenaline-pumping ride after stealing his mom's car. For a moment, he might have felt proud of his driving skills, seeing no police cars approaching. But it wasn't that they gave up on the chase. They contacted dispatch to use GPS-enabled technology to shut down the car. Just as the car comes to a stop, another officer's car ensures to give the car a dent with an unnecessary impact. A few more officers jump out to get the raunchy teenager out of the car. Close call. Police chasing a white truck pull off a pit maneuver, sending the truck skidding onto the highway. It flips and almost goes over to the other side of traffic with cars zooming by at high speed. Thankfully, a sturdy guardrail saves the day and the driver's life. The super truck lands back on its tires, and the suspect keeps driving, but now at a snail's pace. Cops keep trying to pit maneuver him again, but at low speed, it's not very effective. Reflecting on how close he came to disaster, the driver finally decides to surrender. Motorcycle chase. This is probably the craziest chase you will ever see. On the streets of Brazil, a cop on a bike was chasing a couple involved in a robbery. The suspect thought he could lose the cop with sharp turns and congested alleyways, but underestimated the cop's riding skills. The suspect accelerated over speed bumps, making his accomplice catch some air multiple times. But when he rode down the stairs and made a sharp turn, the bike crashed, and the cop finally got them. Well, they now have one lifelong memory, not the nicest one, though. Pilot. This burglary suspect escaped into a field, and even after being hit by a police car, kept running. But one police helicopter pilot had plans for the day, so he landed his chopper and decided to take on the suspect himself. He tackled the suspect to the ground, and when the suspect got up, the pilot squared up, ready to fight. The suspect just tried to run, but the pilot wasn't having any of it and made sure he didn't get away. Rims only. Two suspects fleeing after a shooting in a rental U-Haul truck get their tires deflated by stop sticks. But the driver keeps going, even as tire pieces fly off until they are driving on rims. A pit maneuver spins the U-Haul 180 degrees, but the driver starts going in reverse to escape. With no tires, they're not getting far. Police keep ramming the front of the U-Haul until it spins again. Then they ram it from the side to make sure it goes nowhere. Watch how the passenger acts like a hostage, not an accomplice. Nice acting skills there. Bike and baton. In Thailand, cops cracked down on a group of teenagers on bikes. One decided to flee, and boy, did it turn into a nightmare. He ducked down on the bike to get max speed, but it wasn't enough. When the cop caught up with him, baton in hand, the kid's frightened face told the whole story. Let this be a reminder, young folks, always abide by the laws. Perfect throw. The most crucial part of deploying stop sticks is getting the timing right, and this officer nailed it. Double trouble. What's better than one set of stop sticks? Two of them. These officers made sure to get all four tires of the vehicle driven by the fleeing suspect. Not long after, the suspect abandoned the stolen vehicle with shredded tires. And you know how unlikely it is for crooks to escape from the police on foot. With that, our wild journey through action-packed police encounters with erratic suspects comes to an end. Were these clips hilarious or shocking for you? Share your thoughts in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you get notified each time we post just for you. Thank you for watching.